And we're live.
Live with Viva. This is not a sticky notes or a note to follow.
I'm
Don't
wearing
be
my
confused.
I'm wearing my Veeva hat
Feels
today.
like that.
I know it is shocking, but I actually have a job, a real live day job.
Dang, what's that like?
It's actually pretty cool. pays the bills.
Yeah,
So
Viva's
don't,
listening, so you have to say that.
yeah, don't adjust your eyes or your screens. This is a Viva live stream. So we have Denali Rose, who relatively recently started at Viva, right?
Yeah, so I joined Veeva, I think in June. Actually, funny enough, given we're here talking about SOS, I actually got hooked up with Veeva at SOS last year. So I was at the SOS conference. I had a conversation with Bree Burks, who's sort of I like to call her like the heart and soul of the Veeva site solution side of things. And we got to talking, and she was like, "Hey, just to let you know, like in a couple of weeks, we're going to be launching a CTMS." And I was like, "Well, that's fascinating. Like, you guys are kind of in a unique spot as far as I saw like the tech landscape." And one thing led to another, and a couple months later, I came in, and now I'm what's my title? VP of Sales and Strategy for Site Solutions at Veeva. So
So
overseeing the commercial. Yep.
that's great to hear. So besides having the sites and helping sites and finding solutions, you can also find a job.
Yeah, the
At
SOS can give you so many things. You never know what you're going to find.
I mean, you got to be a boss like Denali, though. You know, VP
Yes.
right out the gate. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's been a gangbusters 6 months or so, and there's been a lot going on, which has been really cool to see, and super excited to be back at SOS with multiple hats this year, but bringing Veeva in a different capacity to SOS, I think is a market segment that Veeva's really, it's been around since 2007 is when Veeva was founded. We really didn't get into the site space till about 12 years later. And I think it's cool to see us doubling down, and we've been growing a lot in the last couple of years around the space. So excited to get back with the SOS crew and all the wonderful folks who come.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. What do you think is the ideal site profile for a Viva user?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I think when I talk to sites, they it's like, oh yeah, Veeva, I know Veeva. And it's like, okay, well, you're talking about the EDC. Are you using training? Or are you actually using like the site focused solutions? And so in the site vault solutions, which is the EISF, the CTMS, and the eConsent, it's really across the board. So we go from one trial all the way up to thousands. That's sort of what we're marching towards, to be able to support all types of sites. So academic, professional, network, across the gamut. I think we, especially for those smaller sites who have under 20 trials, we've built a model where it's free. So there is no cost for any of those solutions for any sites who are running under 20 trials. So it'd be cool to connect with folks, and I don't know, folks can sign up at SOS, but also it's across the board, really meant to scale and scope with all types of sites.
Now, is that, not to ask a hardball question, but is
Go.
that I'm actually curious, is that like a 20 active studies or like 20 total studies and then you have to start upgrading?
So it's up to 20 active studies.
Okay.
Once you hit to then we have a tier-based model based on protocol volume. So, 20 to 40 as a particular tier price on an annual basis.
That's reasonable.
Goes up from there.
That's reasonable.
So the idea, I think, it's part of, and this is part of why, I joined Veeva. I think some of y'all know, but it's a public benefits corporation. So I had to Google it when I started Veeva to know what that meant. But it's basically saying, instead of just a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders, there's this element of we have a mission to make the industry more productive and create better environment for the industry and the people who work in it. And so that's sort of in parallel with the fiduciary responsibility of the company. So it's not just all we're doing something in the short term to make money. We're doing because the right thing to do for the industry. And so that's why we're able to support sites in that way. Because if we don't support the sites, we as an industry will fail.
So
I love that you hear that.
Yeah, I'm curious of what is Veeva's site offering as it stands versus what is planned over time. I know, we heard about the rollout of CTMS, and then what does that include, and sort of what's on the roadmap.
Yep. So I think we launched the EISF component, so the regulatory binder, along with eConsent in 2019, give or take. And that's continued to grow and scale. We're continuing to, come up with 3 releases a year, continuing to add new features. Like we're updating the, delegation of authority log, updating some of the other solutions and features we're putting in. In December of this year, and then we really went to general availability with the CTMS. portion of it earlier this month. And that includes sort of the standard things you would expect in a CTMS. So protocol, study startup activities, so protocol management, staff management, pre and post award financials, so being able to do budgeting, coverage analysis, and then invoicing and revenue reconciliation on the backside. And then kind of in the middle of that, sort of obviously you have your shared calendar that becomes the core for what that budget is, the coverage analysis you're doing, and then that translates to the patient participation and participant management as you're tracking them through. So creating the actual like schedule of events and visit tracking, and then that flows through to the financials, and then obviously reporting that goes on top of that looks across the board at all number of different metrics that are captured within the system. So general reporting, and we're going to continue to grow. So I think, like I said, EISF has been around for about 5 to 7 years. CTMS launched last year and really went full scale earlier this month. And then we'll continue to add additional products and then features and functionality within that. So keep your eye out, I guess, in the next week or so, we'll have an additional announcement coming out. So teaser there, keep an eye on what Veeva's doing in the site space there. We'll have some announcements for scope coming up on sort of new things we're doing in the space that will continue to augment. And then, on our long-term roadmap, looking at all number of things really to get it at parity with any of the systems you'd expect on the market from a product standpoint. So payments and all those pieces. I think the thing I also wanted to, I think is interesting with the solutions is that, it's a really solid like site solution on its own, right? Like the idea is it's a really solid technology platform for sites who are using it independent just as a site. But the reason that I thought it was really cool and why I actually joined Veeva is I think Veeva's in a position to change how folks could use these systems based on what they're doing. So the goal is really to support sites, right? And with all the technology we've given to sites, we've created basically this information sharing issue where it's like, here's all these disparate systems, they don't connect, they don't talk, and the burden falls on the sites. And we would love to be able to connect those. Well, 80% of global trials run through Veeva technology on the sponsor side. So we have a big footprint and we have really established technology there. If we can connect the site technology directly to the sponsor technology and facilitate that flow of information from regulatory documents, from invoices and revenue reconciliation, potentially for clinical data, Veeva is in a position where they could execute against that. And so having an integrated system, not just within the site itself on a unified platform, but also being able to connect all the sponsor systems that sites are being pushed.
Hey, quick question, SOS team. Am I supposed to be recording this?
I think it saves automatically.
Well, it has a record button, but hopefully that's the case. Okay.
It could be all right. So eventually you'll be able to run your site like fully with Veeva products, and the idea is that it get some interconnection because sponsors rely so heavily on Veeva products. Yeah.
Well, and you're going to get sponsor products regardless of what system you have, right? Like sponsors are going to have trainings, they're going to have EDC systems, they're going to have RTSMs, like they're going to push systems to sites. But our goal is to say if those are Veeva technology and a site is using Veeva Site Vault, that should integrate automatically. Like you should be able to enter information into your platform, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to necessarily even log in to the sponsor system. So long-term goal, yes. And the goal is also for the Site Vault platform. It's that single platform where you could do everything from operations, from financials to clinical data, regulatory, having a single one-stop shop for all sites to be able to manage their research operations and data management.
So when you talk about integration, which technologies are we talking about that Veeva is currently using for the clinical research environment or ecosystem?
Yeah, so I think the first one we tackled was sort of looking at like where our products and the timelines of when our products came out. EISF from the site perspective came out, and then ETMF, so the Veeva's electronic trial master file. Those are already integrated and documents can be exchanged and working to automatically file some of that. We'll continue to look. Our next big push is financials. So Veeva has a site payments application. So if a site is completing their work, they have an invoice to a sponsor, being able to send that invoice directly along with what exactly is for to the sponsor system. The sponsor and their system then can reconcile, and you get back payment as well as a receipt to say this is what you were actually paid for, all electronically within the system. So it's matching those items as well. So that's sort of the next piece of it. And as we add more items, we'll continue to enhance and build out sort of connectivity between Veeva applications and the Veeva sponsor applications and then the site applications themselves.
And which applications does Veeva have for the sponsor? Which ones? I mean, I know for the sites is site pool, but then for the sponsors, which ones are available?
Yeah, so Veeva has a ton of products for the sponsor across a lot of different avenues. So we have, from a clinical data perspective, there's EDC platforms, there's clinical database systems. From a regulatory perspective, they have eTMF. We have quality and safety systems. So there's a lot within the R&D for clinical operations. They have a sponsor CTMS platform, site payment solutions, RTSM, LIMS, sort of all of the major core systems that sponsors would need from an R&D perspective. And then Veeva itself actually has other divisions as well. So they're not thinking outside of clinical research, like post-market commercial materials for sponsors as they go to market with their drugs as well. So it kind of spans the spectrum across the boards. But from R&D perspective, it's really a lot of the solutions that a sponsor would need or a CRO would need to run their operations.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know Veeva had so much solutions or so many solutions.
It's interesting. I mean, and we've grown significantly. I think we're like 8,000 folks globally. So there's offices across the globe. And we have sites currently using solutions. I think there's like 9,400 sites globally that are using Site Vault at this point. And so it's an expansive company, like even outside of sites and even outside of R&D.
Even more sites using the EDC that comes up on place.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's Veeva's competitive advantage is they've reached scale where they can start giving tools for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that keeps other vendors honest. Like, it's kind of what site networks do, the well-run site networks, keeping the small sites honest. Like, they're supposed to be elevating their game, creating better products, faster, cheaper, better, all that stuff. Veeva has that out the gate with all these free tools they can give to sites.
Yeah, and I mean I think it is fascinating. I've worked for companies in the past that have not necessarily had that model where they look to say, hey, how can we make like short-term vision on like what's the next dollar or what's the next acquisition I can be marching towards and improve my books look good for that. And I think because of the PVC status that Veeva has, they do that. And they're like, yeah, we know this isn't like, could we make a little bit more money? Sure. But we think the right thing to do is to be able to support sites. And we have the scale and like the culture and mission to be able to actually support that.
And the staying power.
That's a smart move anyways, because imagine how many sites are going to be using it if it's 100% free. That's huge thing, because the database, the connection with the sponsors, to make everything, just the environment much easier when it comes to technology. Like you say, if everything talks with each other, that's just extremely great.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's a really lofty goal, right? Like it's a really hard thing to try to do, and I think we know that, and we're excited to try it. But I think it's knowing that like this is going to be really hard, and so being able to put the resources and the size and scale behind it to make it happen is something we're very aware of, that it will require that investment and that sticking power to do, because it is a lofty mission to try to do that. And it's something we're doing too, not just in the technology. So something that Veeva has done, we have our summits, which are our annual sort of big customer conferences that we have. And I think it's October this year, and it's free. So we invite all sites to attend. It is free to attend. And one of the big things we do is bring sites and sponsors together within the site-specific zone. So we're bringing sponsors together, sites together, and saying, how can we solve this problem and work together? And it's been fascinating. I think the themes from last year were really that like both sites and sponsors were like sites were like, sponsors really want to talk to us, and like we want to talk to you, and sponsors were like, hey, we're really excited, like we're excited to be able to talk to the sites, like sites actually want to talk to us. And so being able to pull those groups together, not just like through technology to try to integrate it, but also involving everyone, bringing people to the table and saying, how can we help facilitate this collaboration in the industry? Like, yes, we're a vendor, but how can we sort of elevate this and actually help make change? And bringing those groups together, we're in a position where we can, so we do, which is fun.
We got some good comments. Helen, we didn't pay her anything. Well, I don't know if Brad did, but she says Veeva is one of the easiest and most user-friendly systems I've ever used. That's big time.
Well, I love to hear that. I think that's the fascinating thing, specifically if you're if you're using sponsors provided tech too. Like sometimes the experience with that tech can be up in the air, but that's also necessarily like depends on how it was configured. But that's great to hear. Our goal is to make it that way. So
I have a question, but not to put you in the spot. If you can answer it, fine. If not, then
I'll see what I can do.
Does Veeva had in the table to create any AI addition to the platform?
Yeah. So that was a big yes.
Do you guys have AI agents though?
Yes, Brad, we do have agents. It's interesting. This is our big announcement at Summit. Is we're really pulling together we're sort of adding agents natively into all of the Veeva platforms. And so we're building out, that means across the different platforms, it means different things, but just embedding AI directly within the platform and there's a lot of different ways we're playing with how we could use AI. Is it for, automatically, filing documents into the right space? Is it being able to ask some type of interaction agent where you can say like, hey, what's in query the binder and say, I'm trying to find this, and it will find it within all the documents and surface that forward? Or is it, hey, reading a protocol document and saying, hey, I'm going to try to build this schedule of events for you. And so there's a lot of different ways that we have on our roadmap and the team is actively working on. I think we're going to have some prototypes this year even. And those will just be included in Siteball. So we're looking at, those will be part of the applications and being able to embed that. I think everyone's probably, I would argue everyone should be using AI. I think it's at least in pieces. So it should be embedded in those platforms. But
we told them last year. You and I told them last year on SOS, but that went over people's heads because it was so early.
And I think it is.
Everyone's used to it now.
Everyone's used to it. And I also think too that like tech vendors, that's if a tech vendor is not using AI, I would have questions on what level of innovation they're pushing towards. Because I think
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the next. It's going to be just part of what we do, right? I
think it's just technology. I'm sure there's other vendors. Maybe you guys we're not even gonna mention AI. It's just implied. It's there. It's like my startup uses electricity. Nobody says that, right?
Right. I use a computer.
Use electricity now.
Right. It's gonna be that. I think it will absolutely be that. I think it's a big buzzword now, and people also hype it without actually having any real. They're like, we use Gemini prompts. And it's like, well, that's, yes, great. I'm not saying that's bad, but that's not actually embedding AI within your platform. But yeah, it's to your point, it's going to eventually be just part of what we expect in platforms.
You guys got a lot of fanboys. Yeah. Chris, can you put some of these up? Veeva is one of the easiest. Ignore the AQST one. I'm getting salty with that. But Veeva is one of the easiest and most user-friendly systems. I mean, these are real people out in the wild.
That's phenomenal to hear. I love that. Yeah. I also want to hear the other things too, quite frankly, if there's things that aren't working.
Yeah, Chris, that's PTSD, man. Don't put that one. This is not about. I should have bought Veeva stock instead. Okay? I did not. Financial full disclosure.
I actually did when you mentioned it long time ago. You say Veeva is gonna grow. It's gonna be the one.
If you're gonna pick one, not financial advice, Taher, but Veeva, they're at the scale where they can give things away for free. You want to be in that position where technology that's supposedly expensive to implement and execute, you can give to sites for free at a meaningful level. It's not like a BS freemium model. 20 active studies is all my site would ever need in a year until we double up on our scale.
There you go.
Yeah, for a site to have 20 studies is already growing.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. But it also is true. I love hearing that it's great for folks. I love that feedback. And we also want to hear the other feedback too, right? I think a lot of what we do is try to make it improvements as well. So always love to hear that too.
Are you Romanian, Emerson? Let me know. I don't even know if we're supposed to be able to ask questions here. You are asking one indirectly. Wondering what difference in approach Veeva takes to site technology versus sponsor. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And Veeva actually has a site solutions team. So we are a division within Veeva that operates. We have our own independent general manager who oversees the entire site solutions division. And so it's a team that is dedicated to sites. So I oversee the commercial side of that particular division. We have our own engineers, we have our own services, and these are all folks that are dedicated to sites because we understand the market is different and they're going to buy different, they're going to implement different, they're going to need different support. So all of that rolls up under the site solutions division because we know it is different and it needs to be prioritized as such. So as far as like even company structure wise, we've delineated that. Obviously, we work very closely with everyone across the division because we're doing integrations. We have those conversations with our friends in the sponsor side of things constantly. But we do understand we have this team that is focused on that, so we don't get pulled in different directions as well.
Great questions.
Cool.
Wow. People really like Veeva.
I'm partial, but I'm also biased.
I think Veeva has a brand. It'll be tough to, I mean, you and I podcast was talking about sites, kind of everything being, French is good too. Everything being kind of merged together. At some point, technology is going to be a competitive advantage, the differentiating factors. But the fact that Veeva can offer that is, I think it's huge. And interestingly enough, I think Veeva serves like the bookends of, this is why I asked you that question first. I think it like clearly the established AMCs and the really big institutions, and then the small sites that just want to play around with things. I think where maybe there's room for competition would be amongst the site networks because they're either trying their own things or they've got deals with people. Do you guys work with a lot of site networks, or
we do?
Are the bookends like kind of?
We do. I think you're accurate as far as where like the competitive landscape is, right? Like it's a lot, like if we're giving stuff away for free, that's a different position, and there's just not as much on the upside of the market. In that middle is where it's a lot more competitive, just as far as vendor wise. We do play in that space and we play well. We have folks, it just happens to be a more competitive landscape. So we have certainly some networks that we're working with that implement and use our solution, but it's just a more competitive space based on who else is out there.
This is another question that can be, if you have the answer, great. If not, then it's okay. Does Veeva Vault include, I mean, because it has such a big capacity, does it has any BD part
so
of the system?
Not yet. That's a conversation I actually was having with our product manager. We had our commercial kickoff and we were talking about like long-term roadmap and what other solutions we have. I will say Veeva's approach to product release is fairly thoughtful in the fact that like we don't rush things to market half-baked. And so with that being said, sometimes we want to do it right. And so it's not like we're not trying to push everything out right away. It's something on our roadmap. We absolutely want to do it and we have some plans for it, but it's not going to be in the immediate future. But across with like a number of different things, it's on our roadmap. We'll be moving forward with that, but it's not going to be near-term roadmap.
Okay, and this in the roadmap, is this for BD for the sponsors or for the sites or for both?
So the sponsors we have a CRM for sponsors already. What the roadmap would be is for site business development. So, and it could be really used for across the board, depending on how you want to flex it. We haven't fully developed it and baked it out yet. And that's something also we generally tend to work with our client base to design things instead of designing it in a vacuum, because we're a software company, we're not running the sites. And so we have a site advisory council that we get feedback on as we develop and enhance new projects based on feedback from the sites specifically, which I know Brad just left, but he's on it. There's some other sites as well who are on that council, as well as large AMCs to sort of balance how we're developing the products and solutions. So we take feedback exactly like that and then build that out as we develop it. But right now we don't have enough exactly to really scope it out or what that will be, but something we've heard, something we're interested in, but nothing that we've put in pen.
Just yet.
Just yet. Yep. Correct.
Last year, so this is the first year you're attending SOS as a Veeva employee, right?
Yes.
What are you looking to accomplish this year versus last year when you went kind of independent, right? That's where I met you last year, by the way. I didn't meet Denali until last year. That's crazy.
So I think, I mean, our really goal is to talk and connect with sites who are out there. We'll have demos of the solutions up. We'll actually have a device where folks can even sign up, especially if they're under that 20 volume. We'll have an ability to check out the software and then sign up. And by the time you get home from San Diego, you'll have an environment provisioned and you'll get all the trainings and stuff. So we'll have that as the ability for folks to do that. But I think we really just want to connect with sites, share what we're doing in the site space, and also hear what's working and what's not working for sites, so we can then continue to bring that feedback back to our product teams as we continue to grow, develop, and implement. So really connecting with the folks who are doing the work.
One thing I have to say that I like about Veeva Vault site, the site part, is the customer service. I do really like that very much.
So I will do a shout out to our head of global site support, Zach. He is absolutely phenomenal. He's in that site team, like specifically, like I mentioned, in Veeva. So he oversees the entire global site support, and he does a really great job curating and making sure that that team is really, really solid and prioritizing that experience, because you can't be successful if you don't have good support, in my mind. So he's done a great job with that. So I will also pass that feedback on to Zach. He will appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think that part is so important, the customer service to any company or any service provider, because that makes such a big difference. Even if the product is awesome and if the customer service is not good, that can break the system, that can break that service or that specific product. So to me, that's, I mean, and probably to everybody, customer service is a priority.
100%. And I think that's where a lot of times organizations fall down. They focus on being like, I'm just going to get you in and use our product and I'm going to sell you on it. And you have a really good experience in the commercial side of things. And then when you move to implementation and success and support, it's kind of like an afterthought. And I always kind of say, like, you can have a really good product, and if you have shit people around it, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good it is. But if you have a good product and stellar people around it, that's going to make you successful, and your customers successful too.
Yeah, people will remember you because of that.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I'm glad you have that experience as well. And like I said, I'll pass it on to Zach. I know he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, another thing, other thing that's good about Veeva, I've used to use it. We use Creo. I think we still use it to some extent. We found like a use case for us at our site. It's because we do use paid eReg and eSource. We're mindful about when we start regulatory management on a paid product, because you have to pay, like the meter starts running right away. It's like a cap. As soon as you get it, you got a meter starts running. With Veeva, you can actually use you can use it as a place to store regulatory, at least for us, like before you know whether you're going to actually do that study or not, which is useful. Like even for the sites that are already using something else, it doesn't hurt to try this. It's free. You're going to learn new things. Veeva's not going anywhere, by the way. Like so the benefit is they have the brand, they have new products they're going to roll out. They're always working on something else. I've been involved in the process a little bit, like as an outsider, but I've seen what they do, and they're very mindful about the directions and the strategies that they go towards. And here's a hint, it's very site centric. So it's worth playing around with, even if you're already using something else, is my point. And
it also, I mean, if you look at it now, if you sign up, you will have AISF, eConsent, and CTMS. It's all available.
eConsent's new. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll have some eConsent. We have eConsent functionality just embedded within EISF.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was recently using it for a study that it was work as a cluster. So we were working like 2 or 3 sites at the same time. It's actually 2 sites at the same time. One site will do one part and the other side will do the other part. And the middle ground, even if they were using other system and we were using another one, the middle ground was Veeva Vault. So we were sharing the documents through Veeva Vault. So that was another use that probably.
I mean, that's great to hear. I love that.
Yeah. It was a nice experience with that specific study, having the Veeva Vault as the middle ground, because it's like I said, like I was mentioning, it's easy to use, and then also the customer service was stellar. Like I really loved it. They guide us to do it and understand it very easily.
We even used it for the CRC Academy, I remember. At
Yeah,
one point.
still.
Still, okay. And actually
Still,
students
yeah.
our graduates get certified in Veeva. They let us use the logo for that for the academy. So
Yeah.
we have students graduating who are Veeva Site Vault certified.
There you go.
Yeah. So we send the students to get trained in 3 or 4 different platforms, and one of those is Veeva Vault.
Which is good. I mean, it makes total sense because folks who are going to the space are going to see any number of systems. So it's good to have exposure to how they work and what ones work well.
You jump on any random study right now, there's a good chance Veeva will be involved somehow.
80%?
And if you doesn't mean it's not involved either.
You just might not see it.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it pays to know that. And for job interview, Helen, SOS, I don't know if you're coming, hopefully, Helen, but that's how Denali got her job. It's through network.
Yep. No, and it was, at SOS.
At SOS.
Yeah. At SOS, yeah. And I think I will also be speaking at SOS as well.
Yes.
So maybe I knew there was something I was going to ask you about. So are you prepared to share what it's about? Or?
I do. I mean, I have an overview. So when Monica asked, I was like,
I started looking at it.
It's very aligned. Yeah. So we pulled the concept of like mental health and burnout in the clinical trials, which back in a past life, many people might not know this, but I was a clinical mental health counselor and I have my master's in clinical mental health. And so my background is mental health. So then applying that to working with sites, and I'll be presenting on sort of burnout, why it happens, how different approaches, sort of a lens of anti-fragility, and excited.
I like that.
So this is going to be a new on our new segment on the SOS talks. So Denali is going to be.
Are you gonna take a page out of Brad's playbook and bring a bunch of ePros with you?
I will not. I will not be doing that. Which is funny. That was actually when I first met Brad, when he was giving that talk, and he was freaking out because logistically it was a nightmare because they got like lost, and he got them like the morning of, and it was a whole thing. So I have no interest in adding additional stress to my life.
He's lucky he wasn't added to the no-fly list. He bringing that many electronics on a plane? They're gonna ask you something. They're at least gonna frisk you.
He got that. He's got a beard. Looks sketchy. A lot of devices.
Little sketch. So none of that for you, or at least not that. Maybe we'll be surprised.
Yeah, who knows? Well, I mean, maybe I'll be surprised.
We'll figure it out. Good. And then Veeva, who else is coming? Are you guys gonna have a booth, right? You mentioned.
Yeah, we're gonna have a booth. Yeah.
Up.
And then we'll have a couple of folks from my team. Jenny Raby and Nate Davis will be there, as well as Kim Brown, who is one of our solution consultants. So she'll be there, product expert, doing demos. So we'll be having a crew coming out to San Diego, and we're excited.
Yeah, the Veeva team, they're very passionate. I've had the pleasure of being at another conference with them, sharing the booth with them the entire time. Very nice people, very passionate about what they do, very knowledgeable, and they always have demos. They always get something going on.
We like to have fun too.
Well, that too. Maybe I should come work for Veeva, Helen. It's a possibility. Anything's possible. You got to put the vibrations out in the universe.
There you go.
In the Veeva-verse.
Veeva-verse, wow.
The Veeva does have a verse.
There is an element of that. Yeah, I said, I was just our commercial kickoff where we bring all the commercial teams together, and and even in summits the same way. Like there's the vibe. There's a Veeva-verse.
What people don't realize is Veeva was the sales software for the pharma sales reps before they ever got in research. Then they got into research through the pharmacovigilance side, so the SUSARs and all that stuff. And then now when it became necessary for sponsors to have more direct interactions with sites, all these site-centric tools started coming out. And we're just at the beginning of that, I think. So yeah, Veeva knows what they're doing, and the programming and all that is in there. That's their DNA.
Yep. Yeah. Life sciences software company. It's all we do.
Mm-hmm.
So one last word.
But a good stock.
Yes.
that I should have bought.
Denali, what would you like people to know about the site Vault before we finish this webinar?
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage folks to check out Site Vault. It is a single unified platform that's designed for sites that will continue to iterate and grow on, that has that ability to connect with the larger scale, so facilitate that new way of coordination and communication and integration with across sites and sponsors, and really helping expand the industry in a problem that we think will hopefully makes a meaningful impact in reducing.
Thank you so much.
Come to SOS and talk to us.
It's not too late either. You can buy your tickets
Before it gets sold out. We're almost there.
Yeah. You got your hotel room already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
All set. Yeah.
Supply and demand, guys. It's real.
You guys are filling it up. It sounds like the opposite of the Omni.
It sounds, there's no need to say. I don't even know the name of the hotel anymore. Last year it was stuck in my head. Nightmares.
This year we're in paradise. That's
Paradise.
the actual.
That's right. It definitely feels like it in my head too. That's nice. Well, look, everyone, come say hi to Denali. If you're going to be at SOS, you're going to be in for a treat when she gives her presentation. Visit Veeva at the booth. Go sign up on, what's the website again?
I mean, there's a couple of different ways. If you go to Veeva.com, you'll be able to find the site. Mm-hmm.
But there was one like sites.veeva.com.
Site
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, sites.veeva.com is going to be the site-specific page. You can navigate from the main page, but it's the site-specific page that will get you there.
Okay, and then, of course, go connect with Denali. Thank you so much, Denali, for coming on. Veeva's got themselves a real one.
Yes, such a great asset.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys, and I'm excited to see you in a couple months.
Yes.
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks now.
Oh.
It's like 6 weeks. We're 6
I'm guessing
weeks
you guys
away.
are counting, huh?
Couple months. I was like, we got more time than I thought.
Well, it's January. It's technically in March. That's a couple months from now.
March 4th.
It's March,
I
yeah,
wish it was
and we are in January 23rd, so almost 6 weeks away.
Yeah, we're feeling it right now. But everyone, go connect. Denali, thank you so much for kicking off this year's webinars with the SOS sponsors.
Always.
Thank you, Veeva, and thank you, Chris and Monica and Brad, for hosting.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate y'all.
No more need to kick it off with Omni.
Not sure how.
Chris, 1 second, still live.
Yeah, I know.
Paradise.
I'm pushing recording and it's not
Paradise.
stopping. I don't know how you stop it.
Paradise Point.
Just in stream, I guess, right?
Yep.
SaveOurSites.com.
Let's do it.
Save our